Tune in to Heartland for the best in true country music. Relive vintage specials, one-of-a-kind concerts, and country music's earliest videos. Heartland is the heart of country, the only place where you can find country music, country stars, and country lifestyles 24/7. Heartland, the heart of country.
Now on channel 13.2.
Frigidaire. We introduced the first home freezer, the first pulsator agitator washer, and now we introduce the Frigidaire Orbit Clean dishwasher, designed with a unique wash arm that gives you 4 times more water coverage for a consistently better clean. Frigidaire, over 90 years of legendary innovation.
See the full line of Frigidaire appliances at Ventura TV Electronics and Appliances.
Hi, I'm John Mallos. Welcome to this live edition of Connect with Me on the showroom floor at Ventura TV on this day. Glad you're along. It's Ask an Expert Day, and the expert today is on concealed weapons permits. How many are carrying? How many are issued? Do you want one? Do you have one? Do you think you need one? Hey, we're going to talk about that today on the program. You can call in at the new telephone number we have for this week, and perhaps, I don't know for how long, area code 559-265-4331, and that number will be on your screen throughout the course of this program. Back in a moment.
Tonight I want to discuss the importance of the television medium to the American people.
Program. Hey, kind of casual today. You know, I forgot my coat and tie when I left the house, but no big deal, right? We're all here casually today at Ventura TV on the showroom floor. And before we get started, I got to mention our sponsor today. It's McGill, Guzman, McGill. That's Chuck McGill, the attorney at law. He's a defense attorney, longtime attorney. He's been around more than 25 years, good friend of this program's, and thanks a lot, Chuck, for the sponsorship. And also time to remind you that we're going to talk a little bit about concealed weapons permits here on this program today. So we encourage you to call in on the phone number we've been using for the last day or so, and it's a new one, just a straight shot. You don't have to listen to any recording. It's 265-4331. That number will be good until further notice. Also, until further notice, we're going to be on Comcast, channel 187, 43.6, 13.1, and now 8.1, 4 stations live here on Connect with Me. I say until further notice because later on in August, I believe the latter part, right around August 21st, Comcast channel 375 is going to be our number. We're going to be changing. We'll still be on Comcast, Xfinity. That's our station. However, it'll change from 187, which is a homicide term, by the way, for law enforcement, to 375. Later in the day, you'd be surprised how many people catch the replay at 2 o'clock, 13.6, 8 o'clock at night, 4.6 Biz TV, and then, of course, the Twitter account. Haven't updated that too much lately, but it's at John Mallos. Me TV. Okay, so we're going to talk about concealed weapons permits, and the big question is, I think you know about all the violent crime and vicious gangs we have here in the Central Valley, specifically here in the city of Fresno. So let me pose a couple of questions for you. Number one, would you feel safer if you carried a concealed weapon? And number two, if you had one, would you in fact use it if you had to? Couple of big questions for you. 265-4331. Let's go to the videotape, show you exactly what I'm talking about. You're looking at the firing line, indoor shooting range in Clovis. It opened its doors just about 4 years ago, and inside you can find the first 25-yard indoor pistol and pistol caliber rifle shooting range in the entire Central Valley. Here they offer a host of basic firearm training programs. For example, safety classes designed to educate you about various weapons such as pistols, revolvers, gun parts, how they function, and how to fire a weapon of any kind. Even if you're a beginner, my friends, you can learn all the gun terminology, how to handle yourself with a gun, single action, double action, semi-automatics, how to reload magazines, one-on-one training, and much more. And yes, they even offer classes for those looking to obtain concealed weapons permits, or if they simply want to renew their license. Here in Fresno County, there are roughly 7,500 people walking around with a concealed weapons permit. 80% of them are men, 20% are women, but according to the National Shooting Sports Foundation, some 80% of gun retailers saw an increase in the number of women carrying concealed weapons. The number of women carrying spiked 23% in 2011 nationwide. Those apparently are the latest figures. In fact, there has been a huge spike in the number of husbands and wives going in, buying guns, applying for CCWs, and actually taking gun classes together. That's right. So, live in our studio right now to talk about this is Tony Botti. He is from the Fresno County Sheriff's Department. He is the Public Information Officer. We already have a phone call. I'm going to put this caller on hold for a moment so I can get through this monologue. Anyway, today our phone number is 265-4331. Tony is it's his second appearance here. He's a return guest. He's from the Fresno County Sheriff's Department to talk about how you can apply for a concealed weapons permit. You have to go through the classes, you've got to go through the training, and also pass all the background checks. We'll take your phone calls. Be back with Tony in just a moment.
Have you or a loved one recently been arrested for a serious crime?
Is your professional reputation at risk?
Aggressive representation from a qualified defense attorney can help you avoid conviction and keep your reputation untarnished.
Hi, I'm Charles McGill, and I'll fight for your rights. With extensive experience in successfully defending against a wide range of criminal offenses and high-profile cases, you can rest assured that you'll get the fair trial you deserve from McGill, Guzman, McGill. Call us at 559-255-3425 or visit us online at toplawyersfresno.com.
A top-secret location. It's the spies who love me, bringing together MeTV's top super spies to fight evil at a memorable moment's notice. They're daring.
That's right.
Brave.
Now what are we gonna do?
The best we can.
Suave.
Does that apply to me, Oscar?
Possibly.
And smart.
The old finger in the gun trick.
Maxwell Smart.
MeTV Fresno, channel 43.6 and Xfinity 187.
Talk about over-preparing for this show. My goodness gracious sakes alive. I have so many stats and information in front of me. Did so much research for this program. I think I'm overloaded in the brain, Tony. How are you?
Good, John. Good to see you again.
Yeah, good to see you. Hey, first question I've got, and we do have a caller that's on the line. Be patient just for a moment. First question I want to ask you, because I've done so much research about this. There are some states around the country where you have to prove that your life is in danger, the lives of your children, maybe your wife, your spouse, any relatives might be in danger in order to obtain a concealed weapon. In California, is that true, or can you get the weapon just based on self-defense?
Yeah, you can get it just based on self-defense, and I mean there's a lot of processes to go through in order to find out if you are a legitimate candidate to carry one. We talked about a person who maybe is a business owner. You carry a lot of cash, makes a lot of trips to the bank. If you believe that you or a member of your family is in immediate danger, that might be a reason that you apply to carry a concealed weapon. You could be somebody high profile in the community. Mm-hmm. We have many lawyers and doctors and judges who will carry a gun because of potential danger to them. And then kind of lastly, if you live in a remote area, obviously in Fresno County we have lots of those. If you feel that maybe it's going to take longer for law enforcement to respond to your home, that might be another reason that you'd want to carry.
Caller, thanks for being patient. You're on with Tony Botti. Go ahead.
Tony, a quick question. Once you get your concealed weapons permit or whatever, in our town, of course, where I used to live, there was a lot of gangs and all that. Now, would that be a reason to carry an arm just because you see gang members out there? I mean, in my case, there was a lot of gangs with firearms, and I knew they weren't qualified because I know they couldn't get a permit or anything because they've had a felony. But do you see now more women using or getting permits for carrying arms, and is it a good place to put their weapons in their purses? I myself don't think so. They should probably get some kind of a holster So that's my two questions, Tony.
Okay, well, I'll start with your first one. If you live in an area in a neighborhood where you feel that you are unsafe, then yeah, that could definitely be a reason that you want to carry. It goes back to that point of if you or your family member feels that you're in immediate danger.
One moment, caller.
The second point is that we have seen an uptick in women, particularly maybe in the last 5 years of more of them applying. John mentioned here in the county, 7,500 CCWs in Fresno County. That is number one in the state. About 80% of those are held by men and 20% are held by women. Now, as far as where women carry it, that's personal preference. It's wherever you feel comfortable. Maybe it is your purse. Maybe that's your quickest access point. Maybe you don't want to be weighed down carrying something bulky on your person. But there are other ways. You know, there are holsters that you can wear underneath your shirt, underneath your blouse. Ankle holsters if you wear slacks. So they do have a number of options. It really just comes down to what's most comfortable for you.
Yeah, and before we take the call here, I do want to say I think women are more at risk for being harmed than men. And maybe that's why the increase in the number of women obtaining these concealed weapon permits. Would you agree with that? To
an extent. I mean, obviously we know that women can be targeted more. The criminal might see them as being more vulnerable.
Yeah.
But there are men that can find themselves just equally in the same situation. Obviously, we know that women, are not going to be as physically strong maybe as a male. So maybe having an actual weapon on them is their best line of defense. It's just something that might be that added extra safety measure to make them feel more comfortable.
Unless you're messing with Jennifer Alcorn, right?
Right, yeah. I mean, there's going to be exceptions everywhere.
I wouldn't want to mess with her. But women in general might be more at risk. I'm not sure. I know that's pretty a general statement, so I can't make that across the board, obviously, but more and more women are applying. Caller, go ahead. Thanks for being so patient.
Yes, thank you. Two quick questions. First is, if you have a concealed weapons permit, you have a weapon on you, and you're driving along, police pull you over because you're over 5 miles over the speed limit, or did some type of traffic. What should you do when you are stopped? Do you tell them right away that you have a concealed weapon? Let them ask you. That's the first. The second question is, can I take the concealed weapons to other states, let's say Oregon, Nevada, Montana, Washington? Is that appropriate, or do you have to go to each state, or each state's different? Thank you very much.
I'll start with your second question first. First, your CCW is only valid for the state of California. You can't cross state lines and still continue to carry it.
So you can't take it on a plane, let's say? Probably not.
No, it's for California, and more specifically, two, is that if you get it issued to you in Fresno County, you're a Fresno County resident, if you move to Marin County, well, that CCW is no longer valid. You'd have to go through Marin in order to get issued a new license. Caller's other point about he's driving and gets pulled over, simple traffic violation. That's, again, a personal preference. If you know you're within your legal rights, you don't have to disclose to that officer that you are carrying. But you take a certification class, and this is one of the topics that comes up. And the big recommendation is usually do tell the officer, because number one, it's going to improve the safety and the contact for both you and the officer. You know that you're not doing anything wrong. It's probably best to just be upfront and let that officer know, and just say, hey, just want to let you know I do have a CCW permit. I am carrying right now. What would you like me to do? And that would maybe give them the opportunity to say, okay, let me please secure that weapon, and then we'll continue our conversation.
Yeah, don't be confrontational with the officer. Just be friendly and open and cooperative.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I try to do anyway. All right, caller, go ahead.
Yeah, on the concealed weapons, why isn't it easier to carry it in the open rather than hiding it? It seems like it deter more people.
You're asking why hide it and why not carry it in the open?
Yeah, why not display it? It deter more people rather than just pulling it out and shooting somebody,
Well, first of all, you're not going to be able to carry a loaded weapon and have it visible to the public unless you're a law enforcement officer.
It's illegal?
Yeah. I mean, you can't just go walking around and, having your loaded gun on your hip. People would either, A, not know who you are and think that maybe, you're some sort of a terrorist, or B, they might think that you are a police officer when in fact you're not. So the concealed part of the CCW is the operative word here, and that you must hide it.
Hey, quickly before we go to break, I noticed that in 2013, the numbers for San Mateo, 165 concealed weapon permits given out, Contra Costa County, 152, Alameda, 118, Santa Clara, 49, Marin County 21, and your favorite city, San Francisco, California, gave out 2 in 2013. Why such a disparity between the Bay Area and, say, the Central Valley?
Well, obviously, the Bay Area is a much more liberal area. Central Valley has had a reputation for being more conservative. And a lot of times it comes down to who your sheriff is and what they're looking out for as far as what they think their constituents would want. Here in Fresno County, Sheriff Mims is a strong supporter of the Second Amendment. So that is a reason why we have more than, say, a San Francisco.
Okay, good enough. Caller, I think I punched the button. Are you there? Are you there?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
The question I had on this concealed weapons is for throughout the whole state of California, or like if I was to go like L.A. or San Francisco or somewhere to another city or something, would I be able to still carry it and still have it on me, or is it only good if I get it in Fresno? Is it only good in Fresno?
It's good in all 58 counties in California. The one thing that I will say is that San Francisco is a little bit of a different animal. They like to be a little more progressive and take the law into their own hands, so to speak. They've actually authored or tried to author some sort of a law where they don't want to accept CCWs in their city, in their county. And so a lot of times people are getting the recommendations now that while you are legally in your rights to carry in San Francisco, maybe it's just not worth the hassle. Don't take your gun with you, because if it does get taken from you, it's just going to be a kind of a headache to get it back.
Yeah, we got to take a break. Hey, our phone number today, Tony Botti is here. Later on, we are going to be joined by the owner of the firing range in Clovis. That's one of 65 places you can go. I said it correctly, 65 different instruction places that you can go here in the Central Valley to obtain a concealed weapons permit. That means going through the classes, going through the training, purchasing a weapon of your choice, one that you can handle, that you know you can handle. That is, assuming you clear that background check. Today's program sponsored by McGill, Guzman McGill, the attorney at law, Chuck McGill. He's a good guy, and thanks for that. And our telephone number is 559-265-4331. That will zip you right through to our program. Hey, no recording today. We're back with our show here in just a moment.
Attention all units. We have reports of 2 motorcycle cops protecting California's highways.
That's for us, good buddy.
The Men of Chips are on BTV.
Hi, I'm John Baker. I'm John Baker. It's Officer Baker.
He's the blonde one.
Hi there.
Officer Poncherello, man. Frank Poncherello.
Oh, I'm Frank Poncherello.
And he's the one who's Eric Estrada.
There's no way I wouldn't remember a name like that.
Catch the blonde one and the one who's Eric Estrada.
Now on MeTV Fresno, Xfinity 187.
Have you or a loved one recently been arrested for a serious crime?
Is your professional reputation at risk?
Aggressive representation from a qualified defense attorney can help you avoid conviction and keep your reputation untarnished.
Hi, I'm Charles McGill, and I'll fight for your rights. With extensive experience in successfully defending against a wide range of criminal offenses and high-profile cases, you can rest assured that you'll get the fair trial you deserve from McGill, Guzman McGill. Call us at 559-255-3425 or visit us online at toplawyersfresno.com.
You know, I got to tell you, if you apply for a concealed weapons permit, you got to be able to handle a gun just like that. The video that you saw, that gentleman there firing one round after the other, you got to know how to handle the gun, how to clean it, how to conceal it. how to take care of it, how to clean it. Am I right, Tony? You can't just go out and get a gun and just start firing away and think you're going to get a permit. You have to go through the process, and that process is?
Well, let's start from the beginning. So you're interested in getting a CCW. The first thing, you're going to fill out an application given to you from the sheriff's office. After you fill that out and you turn it in, you can expect about 3 weeks before you're going to get called in for a first interview. Some of our folks at the office are going to, go over the basics with you, make sure.
They'll actually call you in to come into the office? Really?
Right.
It's like a sit-down type interview?
Right. It's just to make sure everything matches up. You are who you say you are, and there's no red flags as to why you should not be a potential carrier. If you do go through that and you pass, you're going to get a letter of approval from Sheriff Mims. From that point, you are going to have to sign up for a class, a certification class. And once you get that certificate, you're going to call the sheriff's office again and schedule a second interview. You're going to bring through all your documents that you have, and then you're going to have to pay your fees for a background check through the sheriff's office. There's a state fee, and then there's also FBI fingerprinting fee. All told, $208 is what it's going to cost for those applications.
Plus taking the class, that'll cost you a little bit of money also,
yeah,
right?
Figure maybe another $100 for that. So, and I can get into the cost, but yeah, so $208. I want to mention the sheriff's office is not profiting off this. Some people might think, oh, that's why you issue so many. You're trying to make money off this deal. This is just to cover the fees to issue this CCW permit. Now, once you get through and you get your fingerprinted and everything like that, you can expect another 10 weeks before you actually get that permit mailed to you in your hand. The Department of Justice is backlogged. They have about a 10-week process. So figure from the day you turn in that application to the day that you are allowed to legally carry your weapon, we're looking at about 4 months.
Let me get into the process now as far as who qualifies and who is disqualified. Okay, because I hear these questions a lot when we start talking about CCWs. If you are convicted of a felony, you cannot obtain one. Am I correct about that?
That is correct. Felonies and then some misdemeanors as well.
So let's say you have a DUI or you have several DUIs. I'm not a drinker. I've never been a drinker. I don't drink and drive, obviously. I don't even drink, period. But I have friends who have done, they've done actually some time for DUI. And I know people who drink and drive. And I know many people who've done it more than once. So if you get a DUI 1 time, twice, 3 times, does that disqualify you?
I can't speak specifically to that. I don't know every criteria for which misdemeanor, does and doesn't count against you. There is something interesting about the felony, though. I mean, I'll give you an example. You're 20 years old. You and a buddy go in and you burglarize a home. You get arrested, and now you're 40 years old. The last 20 years, you've lived a clean life. Nothing's popped up. That was one mess up that you did when you were a kid. You could actually maybe still qualify for a CCW based upon the type of crime that it is.
Even though that was a felony some 20 years ago.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's different criteria for every type of felony. Obviously, if you were brandishing a weapon, you assaulted somebody, stuff like that, that could be a little different, and you would be exempt from being allowed to carry.
I'm getting to go to break, but I got to ask you this question first because we're going to change out on guests. If you are lucky enough to obtain that permit and you go through the class, you get your weapon, now you have a concealed weapon. Let's say you're a family man. You want to protect yourself, your home, your family. You have kids. Where do you store that weapon to keep it out of the hands of those who shouldn't have it? A 10-year-old kid, a 5-year-old kid.
The easy answer is a gun safe, and there's so many different types of gun safes. And if you do have children, and your next guest can even speak to this, is that under the law you have to have a place to lock that gun up if you have children in the house.
It's the law.
It is.
Okay.
It's not even it's not only the sensible thing to do, but it's the law. I mean, you have to get in the habit that this is a huge responsibility, and when you come home from work, go directly to that safe, put it away, and it just becomes part of your routine, and that's a big part of the responsibility that you take on when you.
Do police officers or sheriff deputies, do they have the same criteria in terms of when they go home, do they have to lock up their weapons as well, or no?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this goes across the board for anybody who has a gun. Just because you are a police officer or a sheriff's deputy doesn't mean that your kid is not going to pick up the same gun that you leave on the table. So
yeah. All right. Quick call here, and then we'll go to break. Caller, good morning. What's your question?
Real quick, how many weapons can you buy with your permit? Say you want to buy one, but I mean, how many are you allowed to buy, or is there a limit? That's
okay. Thank you.
Well, I believe to actually be listed on your CCW permit is 3. You can list up to, or actually 4.
Okay.
Our next guest helped me out with that one. So it's actually 4 that you can list, and you do have to have all those serial numbers and everything documented. So if you buy a new gun, you have to go through an adjustment process to get that gun added to your list.
Okay, Tony Botti is here. We're going to change out guests. We'll talk to the owner of the Firing Line, the indoor shooting range in Clovis. It's only about 4 years old. 265-4331. Today's program is sponsored by McGill Guzman McGill. He's the attorney at law, defense attorney Chuck McGill. Back in just a moment.
We get our speed from Mom and Dad. They do stuff super fast. And now they got this new kitchen, so they're even faster. So they can help us with our free throws.
The time-saving Frigidaire Gallery line with a quick preheat and smudge-proof stainless steel that resists fingerprints and cleans easily. It's mealtime in no time, from start to clean. Frigidaire Gallery.
Save more during Frigidaire Gallery bonus days when you buy 3 or more qualifying appliances. See the full line of Frigidaire appliances at Ventura TV Electronics and Appliances.
Have you or a loved one recently been arrested for a serious crime?
Is your professional reputation at risk?
Aggressive representation from a qualified defense attorney can help you avoid conviction and keep your reputation untarnished.
Hi, I'm Charles McGill, and I'll fight for your rights. With extensive experience in successfully defending against a wide range of criminal offenses and high-profile cases, you can rest assured that you'll get the fair trial you deserve from McGill Guzman McGill. Call us at 559-255-3425 or visit us online at toplawyersfresno.com.
Take a look at this.
Let's play.
This is too hip for you. I'll slow it down.
Let's play.
Watch all your favorite classic game shows on Buzzer TV, KBBC Digital Channel 13.7.
Hello, I'm John Walsh. We need your help to capture this fugitive. James Bell is an alleged child predator. Bell's wanted for molesting 3 girls ages 9 through 13 while working at a local YMCA in 2003. He was arrested, then fled. Bell has worked as a gymnastics instructor, coach, and a computer repairman. Bell could be anywhere along the West Coast. If you know where he is, call 617-742-5533.
Most watched news channel in Europe.
We're back here on the program on Connect With Me on this Thursday morning. It's Ask an Expert Day, and you can call in, area code 559-265-4331. We're using that phone number. It's a direct shot in. There's no recording there. It's testing this line out to see how it works with you, the viewer. Anyway, I am joined now by Jake Belemgian, and he is the owner of the Firing Line Indoor Shooting Range in Clovis, and I pronounced your name correctly, the last name. Not bad, huh?
No, it's pretty good.
Not bad for a Greek, right?
That's right.
That's a good Greek name, by the way. So we've been talking here with Tony Botti about, you know, how to obtain a concealed weapons permit. You know, more and more women seem to be applying. I do want to go out to your place, though, the Firing Line. It's only about 4 years old. Let's roll the videotape that's called Signing Up at the Counter. I guess more and more people are going in and signing up. And what are you hearing from these people? Why are they signing up? So what's the message coming from these folks?
So people are in my opinion, they're taking responsibility for their own safety.
Why? Do they feel threatened, or do they just, is it, Is it the in thing to do, or what?
It is somewhat in vogue, but it's also it's also that people are starting to realize that the police, and this is no snub to the police
are packed
or
there,
to the.
by the way. Look at the people at the counter. I didn't mean to interrupt. I'm
no,
sorry.
that's okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think you guys shot this on a Saturday, so that's our busiest day of the week.
Go ahead, continue. I'm sorry.
But I think a lot of people are taking responsibility for their own safety, and not to knock the police or the sheriff's department, but the reality of it is that when you call 911, there's a delay. If you live in the city or in a metropolitan area, when you call the police, let's just say it's 3 minutes for them to get there.
Yeah, and that's quick, by the way.
And that's extremely quick. That's, I think, an unrealistic number. But let's use that unrealistic number and say, how much damage could someone inflict on you or one of your loved ones in 3 minutes?
You're dead.
It's an eternity.
Seconds.
It's an eternity.
Yeah.
And so people are starting to realize this, and they're saying, okay, I'm going to take responsibility for my safety and my family's safety.
Yeah. Let's go to the firing line inside, if we can there, Lauren, and pick out the video that's called Shooting Gun Number 1. It goes about 1:22, and I'm not sure what we're going to see here. We're seeing more and more females, I guess, learning how to fire a weapon like this, learning how to load it, learning how to handle a magazine, learning the difference between a revolver and, say, a Glock, okay? This is a young lady here learning how to shoot. We do have a caller on the line here with a question. Go ahead, caller. Thanks for calling in.
Yes, I have a question. I hear you have to have a test before you can actually purchase a weapon. Is this true?
Yes, actually that is correct. In the state of California, you have to have some sort of proof of training. So if you want to purchase a firearm and you have never owned a firearm, you're going to need one of two things. One of them is a firearm safety certificate, which is obtained by taking a test, or a handgun safety certificate, which was the old system that they used. And the cards are good for 5 years. It costs $25. It's a 30-question basic firearm safety test. It is not rocket science. There is a study guide available on the California DOJ website. If you read the study guide and you've got a little bit of common sense, you can pass the test.
Okay. Caller, you still there? You gone? He's gone? Okay. So here, one of the instructors showing the young lady how to shoot, and let's roll another piece of videotape and I'll ask you another question about this. Teaching how to shoot. It goes about 55 seconds there. So when you teach someone how to shoot, look, they have a gun in their hand.
Right.
Okay, it's a weapon. It's a deadly weapon.
Right.
Do most people or some people or a small amount of people get intimidated by just the plain mere fact they have a gun in their hand?
So something that's important to note is we're watching some video here of somebody shooting for the first time, but what we're not watching is what went on before this person actually went out onto the range to shoot, which is how to handle the firearm, how to hold it, what the gun does, what they can expect, all those things. We don't just take somebody...
He's showing her there in that video.
He
you
is.
See that.
Yeah, he's
how
working
to hold
with her.
it, how to point.
But that started inside before they ever even went out on the range. And then the instructor that's helping them right there, he's explaining to them right now about how we press on the trigger, what part of our finger he uses. You notice he's touching his finger. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot to it.
All right, we do have another piece of videotape. It's called Prep for Shooting. We actually have two of them. Let's go Prep for Shooting number 1. And this is the preparation right here that maybe you were talking about as he is going through the process and walk us through this right now.
So basically what you've got, they've got some firearms on the shooting benches there, but you notice that they're not handling them. He's going over how the range operates, what they need to know.
Hold on, caller. One moment.
What they can and can't do, and then they'll step up and actually do some shooting.
So the process is what? Before these young ladies, I don't know if they have a concealed weapon or not, but they're learning how to shoot.
Right.
When you learn how to shoot, I want to know what step number 1 is.
So step number 1 is you deciding that this is something that you want to learn how to do.
What's
right?
Step 2?
Step 2 is to sign up for a class or sign up for one-on-one instruction.
Should you sign up for the class first before you go through this process here?
So we would like for people to, take a class, get some instruction beforehand. We get a lot of people who come in, almost everybody knows someone that shoots guns or that's into firearms or maybe has a concealed carry permit. And so if you can't take a class, it's good to come in with someone who knows what they're doing. We don't just send people, if you walked in, you never shot a gun before, you walked in and said, I want to shoot a gun.
Right.
Well, we're not just going to hand you a pistol and a box of shells and go, here you go to lane number 6.
Yeah, I mean, I've shot guns before, but I'm not Dirty Harry.
Right. And that's not what the goal is here.
Yeah. Go ahead, caller. You're on the air.
Yeah, I'm sorry, John. I was hung up on there just briefly. Can you tell me what these classes run and when they are taken, and what's the location where you go to sign up?
Sure. So we offer, as John mentioned earlier, there's 65 certified instructors on the Fresno County list of instructors. Many of those instructors work at the same place. Our particular facility, I think we have 3 or 4 certified instructors.
Is this your CCW class here?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Go ahead.
So we offer the classes 3 to 4 times a month. We try to alternate between 2 weeknights and 1 Saturday class. This class happened to be a Saturday class. And then it's offered, like I said, in the evening if you take the 2 weeknight class, or you can take it on a Saturday and it's an all-day class.
Great. And so, caller, you still there? Do you have any other questions?
Yes, no, I just wondered what the cost was for it and what the location was where you have to go.
Okay. So we're fortunate because we are an indoor shooting range. We offer the classes there. Your viewers may not know that there's a live fire portion of the course where you have to actually qualify with your firearms. So we're fortunate in that not only do we teach the class at our facility, but you can come and you can qualify during your class and not have to go to another facility to get qualified. So it's pretty much a one-stop shop.
How long is that class?
Our class, so the requirement from the county is 6 hours. Our class usually runs about 6.5 hours.
Okay.
That's a lot of information to cover.
What do you teach in there? What's the number one message that you're trying to get across to these students here?
So that's actually a great question. So the first thing is that the first step to getting a concealed weapons permit is not taking a CCW class. The first step is to learn how to handle a firearm and how to shoot a firearm proficiently.
Before you take a class. Why is that important?
So a couple of reasons. Number one, what's your reason for wanting to get a CCW? I want to be able to protect myself. I want to be able to protect my family.
But it seems like it would be the other way around. It make more sense. You take a class first, and then you'd go learn how to shoot.
One would think that, but
not so.
No.
Okay.
So we don't teach people how to shoot in our CCW class. That is not the purpose of the class.
Purpose of the class is
to teach you the law, and to teach you what you need to know to stay out of trouble and to be safe. Sorry.
Safety first.
Yeah, of course, of course. The biggest thing, or one of the big things is that if I'm carrying a firearm to protect myself, I need to be able to use it, right? And I need to be able to use it effectively. The other thing that I don't want to happen is I don't want the bad guy to take my gun and kill me with my own gun.
Yeah. There was a story back east, I got to take a break, that I read on the internet. There was a woman who filed a restraining order, I think, against her husband. Maybe it was a boyfriend. She got a concealed weapons permit. She had 2 weapons. 2 weapons. He came at her at some point. They had a confrontation. She pulled out her weapon. It jammed.
Right.
He ended up shooting her in the back. Because she didn't know what to, instead of using, getting the other weapon, pulling out the other weapon, the second weapon.
It's hard to armchair quarterback this stuff.
I know, but it happens so quick.
It does. It does. That is absolutely true, that things unfold so quickly.
With a matter of seconds.
And that's why proper training and proficiency, I cannot emphasize that enough.
All right, the class will teach you that. Jake Belemgian is here. He is the owner of the Firing Line Indoor Shooting Range in Clovis. We'll give you his phone number in just a moment here. But our phone number, it's up on the screen, 265-4331. Quite a few phone calls so far, about 20 minutes left in the program. McGill Guzman McGill is our sponsor today. We're back in just a moment.
Have you or a loved one recently been arrested for a serious crime?
Is your professional reputation at risk?
Aggressive representation from a qualified defense attorney can help you avoid conviction and keep your reputation untarnished.
Hi, I'm Charles McGill, and I'll fight for your rights. With extensive experience in successfully defending against a wide range of criminal offenses and high-profile cases, you can rest assured that you'll get the fair trial you deserve from Miguel Guzman Miguel. Call us at 559-255-3425 or visit us online at toplawyersfresno.com.
Back here on the program, Ask an Expert Day here on Connect With Me and 265-4331. A lot of time left. Miguel Guzman Miguel is the sponsor today. Chuck McGill, the defense attorney. Let's put up that disclaimer, Ask an Expert. Hey, both Jake and Tony came in of their own free will today. We just want to say they didn't pay us, we didn't pay them. But Ask an Expert is a chance for us to bring in an expert in any field, whether it's the medical field, whether it's firing weapons, whether it could be in packing, trucking, whatever, and they can inform you and me of what their expertise is. And in this case, Jake, you're an expert in guns. You've owned that firing line for about 4 years, I guess, from what I read on the internet. Let's roll a videotape. Prep for shooting. Let's number 2. Let's roll that videotape. And you talked about preparation. You know, I'm a former sportscaster. Okay, every athlete I talk to is preparation, preparation, preparation. Is it the same when you're shooting a gun?
It is. It absolutely is. So we talk about shooting skills as a perishable skill, just like professional athletes, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
They practice their craft every day. It's what they do.
Yeah.
And it's how they are able to perform at these crazy high levels that you and I could never dream of doing.
Mm-hmm.
And the same thing goes for shooting. If you don't practice, you will not be able to perform.
Let me ask you a question that somebody brought up. I was talking about this subject to a friend of mine, and they posed the question. They said, ask this one question. If you don't ask any other, ask this one. If somebody has a bad temper, should they have a concealed weapons permit?
No.
Because?
They're unstable.
But a lot of people have quick tempers, but is that going to prompt them to pull out a gun and shoot somebody?
So,
that's crossing the line.
So part of the process is this background check.
Okay.
So if somebody is a person who say they have a bad temper, well, that's kind of that's a broad,
right,
that's a broad question.
I know.
So is somebody prone to yelling and screaming and throwing things and becoming violent, but not necessarily against another person? Absolutely not. If it's a person that gets excited, I'm one of those people. I get excited about stuff. I'm passionate about the things I believe in.
And what about road rage? We see so much in road rage these days. I mean, my God, heaven forbid you get into an argument with somebody on the highway and you have a concealed weapons
and that's not
permit,
what it's for.
And you think you have the right to pull it.
You don't. And this
is
what we teach. So you asked what we teach in the class. This is what we teach.
Yeah.
Situation management. When is it okay to use a firearm to defend myself, or to just use a firearm, period? And
so the answer is, when can you pull that gun and use it?
Okay, so there's
I
basically...
should be asking Tony that question.
No,
but
that's all right. Well, I actually teach this in the class. So, so there's basically 4 instances, and only 4 instances. Number one.
Okay.
My life is in... I feel that my life is in danger.
Okay.
Number
life
2.
in danger.
Life in danger.
Okay. Number 2.
Number 2 is I am in fear of having great bodily injury inflicted upon me.
All right. Bodily harm.
Yep. Great bodily injury, I believe, is what it says in the penal code.
Great. Okay.
Number 3 is someone else's life is in danger. Okay. And it does not matter who that someone else is. It could be your wife or your kids or a stranger on the street. Does not matter.
Oh.
Or someone else is in danger of having great bodily injury inflicted upon them. Those are the 4 main times when the use of lethal force is acceptable.
Judgment call, then.
It is a judgment call, and that's a lot of what we teach in the class.
Yeah, and that's what this young lady is here. That's Rosalina Nunez, or not this young lady here, but the one prior, the previous lady who was shooting there. She is Rosalina. She's an attorney here in the city of Fresno. I don't know if she has a concealed weapons permit, and I really don't want to know. It's none of our business, but she was there shooting that day that we were there. We know her. She's been a guest on our program. But I mentioned more and more women applying for these permits.
Mm-hmm.
And quickly, before we go to break, can you give me a short answer as to why more women are applying for these concealed weapon permits?
I think that we're living in a time, even more so than in the past, where women are taking control of their lives. They're saying, hey, I can do anything you can do. I can take care of myself, and they're wanting to do that, and that's what you have. Gun sales, not just concealed carry permits, but gun sales for women have skyrocketed.
At your place?
Across the country. I mean, at our place, yes, but across the country.
Yeah.
We're seeing a lot more women purchasing firearms, and not just purchasing one, but becoming enthusiasts.
Maybe you're seeing, I don't have the figures, I don't have anything to base this on, but maybe you're seeing more violence against women these days too, and they want to protect themselves.
I think we're hearing about it more. I can't speak about the statistics.
I don't know the stats either.
But it sure seems like we're seeing more.
Yeah. Got to go to break. Jake is going to be back here in just a moment. The owner of the Firing Line Indoor Shooting Range. Your telephone number out there is quickly
559-294-9400.
Okay. Located where?
Clovis Avenue and Shields is our closest cross streets.
Okay. We're going to be back in just a moment. McGill Guzman McGill is the sponsor today. Our telephone number is up on your screen as usual, 265-4331. Back in a moment.
Have you or a loved one recently been arrested for a serious crime?
Is your professional reputation at risk?
Aggressive representation from a qualified defense attorney can help you avoid conviction and keep your reputation untarnished.
Hi, I'm Charles McGill, and I'll fight for your rights. With extensive experience in successfully defending against a wide range of criminal offenses and high-profile cases, you can rest assured that you'll get the fair trial you deserve from McGill Guzman McGill. Call us at 559-255-3425 or visit us online at toplawyersfresno.com.
Is taking care of laundry taking too much of your time? Have you become a missing mom? With a new fast, efficient washer and dryer from Ventura TV Video Appliance, you'll spend more of your day the way you want. Save now on Frigidaire's Advanced Affinity Laundry Pair. Let Frigidaire save you energy, water, and time. Don't spend your life on laundry. Upgrade today at Ventura TV Video Appliance and save.
We need help to find this missing child. Hallie Cummings was 7 when she went missing. She was last seen in Satsuma, Florida in February of 2009. This is what we believe she looks like today at age 11. If you have any information, please call the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children at 1-800-THE-LOST. That's 1-800-843-5678. Please help bring Hallie Cummings home.
Almost time. Now we'll find out once and for all about Clark Kent and Superman.
Look up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's a TV show.
Yes, but who is he? What's his name?
He's Superman.
Golly, Clark, won't that be wonderful seeing Superman?
Fighting a never-ending battle for truth, justice, and television the MeTV way.
No one can do the things that Superman does.
The adventures of Superman.
Now on MeTV Fresno, Xfinity 187.
When you like Ventura TV Appliance on Facebook, it's nice. But when you love the KitchenAid appliances we deliver, it's even better. Our website is cool, and it's a good place to start. But you really should touch the merchandise before you buy. Save big with KitchenAid. Right now, get up to a $1,000 prepaid MasterCard when you purchase select KitchenAid appliances. Get the best selection, price, and service in town without waiting. Come in to Ventura TV Appliance and touch the merchandise today.
Retro TV, your home for classic television. The greatest shows in history are here for you to enjoy. Join Cosby and Colt as secret agent men in I Spy. Ride along the Ponderosa with the Cartwrights in Bonanza. Hit the beat with Joe Friday in Dragnet. And that's not all. Retro TV offers endless fun and excitement for the whole family to enjoy. Retro TV, the best in classic television.
You can find Retro TV on over-the-air channel 13.4.
We've got two guests on the set now, joined by Tony Botti here. So Jake and Tony are together. Jake is the owner of the Firing Line, the indoor firing range there in Clovis, and Tony is part of the Fresno County Sheriff's Department. He's the public information officer. And let me ask you both this question here. Where can people find the laws regarding the possession of a firearm? Where can they search on the internet? Can they believe what they're reading on the internet? Can they get it by reading the Sheriff's Department website? Can they go to your place? I'll let anyone who wants to pick it up.
Go ahead, Jake.
So it's available online if you want, and I would caution you to make sure that you're looking at a reputable source. You can actually go on the state of California DOJ website and read the penal code. We actually go through in our class pretty much word for word the sections of the penal code that are applicable to concealed carry.
Yeah. Hey, at what point, I'll ask Tony this question, at what point, because a lot of parents want to teach their kids how to shoot a gun. How old do they have to be before you can put a gun in their hands? And is it legal?
Yeah, it is legal, and I know this is another topic that Jake actually covers in his course. So I know he has his own recommendations that he gives. Long guns, rifles are a little different than handguns.
Okay.
You typically like to start a child off with a long gun under the supervision, and once they get a comfort level of that and they get older, you gradually move up to a handgun because they are two totally different weapons.
What's the age, Jake?
So
recommended, anyway.
So for us, our minimum age is 12 years old. But we won't allow any kids that are under that age. They can't even go out on our range. The quick answer to that question is it depends. Some kids are very mature and grow up around guns, and they have the ability. They have that understanding, and for them, to start them at a younger age is acceptable. But like Tony said, I started out with BB guns.
Right.
And just kind of progressed and moved my way up as I got older and older. Also hunted a lot when I was a kid, and this is something that gets lost, is that, as a society, we don't hunt. As a, percentage of us don't hunt a lot. Right. And kids that hunt understand the difference between what is alive and what is dead. They get that because they're experiencing it firsthand. And I think a lot of kids these days don't get that because they're playing video games, and you die in the video game.
Hold on. Yeah, go ahead.
You die in the video game, and you push the reset button, and guess what? You get to play again.
Yeah. Caller, be patient just for a minute. Roll a videotape called Shopping Area Number 1. And, it's a lot different than when I was a kid. My dad took me out, and he taught me how to shoot like a .22 rifle. Mm-hmm. Not a problem. Out in the sticks, out in the woods.
Right.
I don't know how old I was. It was probably not even 10 years old. Maybe I was like 6, 7, 8, 9 years old, something like that nature. And there was also, you saw the story maybe within the last couple of years. I don't know if it was a 12-year-old girl that accidentally shot her instructor. Do you remember that story?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was recently. That was within the last 12 months. It happened at a shooting range. Yeah. And that's actually a great example of inappropriate training. That girl was, I think she was 12 or 14 years old.
12 years old.
She was shooting an automatic machine pistol, which she had no business shooting. And I'm really harsh on this. I fault the parents. I fault the range operator. I fault the instructor. I fault everyone except for that girl. She didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah. Let's roll the videotape. Shopping Area Number 2. Hang on, caller. What are some of the items that we were looking at there on the counter as you were talking?
So like gun cleaning supplies. The very first shot that you rolled there had a rack that had a bunch of purses on it. And somebody was saying, one of your callers earlier said, well, women shouldn't carry guns in their purses. Or didn't think that was a good idea.
Do you think it's a good idea?
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. And actually there are special concealed carry purses that have integrated holsters in them and easily open compartments so that they can gain access to it.
Yeah,
interesting. And then also safely store it.
Okay, caller, go ahead. Thanks for being patient.
No problem. I have two questions. One, do you have to fill a report after you fire your gun? Like a cop has to fill a report whenever he fires their weapon, or do you have to make some kind of report saying why you fired it? And two, if somebody was to break into your house, do you have to let them know that you have a gun, or how does that work?
Great questions.
So this is probably more investigative. If you were at a shopping center and somebody, tried to inflict great harm on you and you did discharge your weapon and shot them, of course, there's going to be an investigation. Detectives are going to take you to the side and go through it. Why did you discharge it? Get all the accounts to see if it was a justifiable shooting. In your home, you have the rights to use your weapon. Obviously, that intruder has no business being in your home if you did not invite them. So, discharging your weapon weapon there, you're going to have a little bit more flexibility in that. One thing I wanted to touch on, John, is just the responsibility and the huge undertaking that comes with this when you make a decision to apply for a CCW.
It's a headache.
It's not a headache.
No,
it's not
it's
a
a
headache.
headache in the fact that you have to be responsible in maintaining and knowing the safety of how to handle that firearm, specifically when it's not in use, right, Tony?
It is, but I mean, the one thing I'm going to go to, you need to ask yourself one question, and this is what Sheriff Mims tells everybody. Are you willing to get yourself sued by doing this? Because
Meaning what?
Inevitably, if you discharge your weapon and shoot somebody, expect that person's family to come after you with a lawsuit. Yeah. Now, you know, it's up to you to prove that it was justifiable, but you know, we know that this often comes back to landing in a courtroom. So if you're prepared to move forward with that, just know that it is a huge responsibility.
Hey, here's another question. I do want to roll a videotape that we took this off of YouTube, but I found it fascinating. It was a woman firing you know, several weapons, and we got some sound in here so we can kind of hear the popping. You won't hear it here in the studio, but there she is, just popping away. One of the questions is, okay, let's say a person goes in, they're denied by the Department of Justice, and does DOJ tell them why they're denied their concealed weapons permit? Is it a mystery why, or do they tell them why?
There's going to be, you know, first of all, if you're applying, you know if you have a clean record or not.
Right.
If you get denied, you're going to probably know why you got denied. Oh, yeah, I forgot to tell them about that.
Or they're going to come out and tell you, too,
I guess
probably.
If you wanted to call and investigate what it was, but if it's like, oh, yeah, you know, I did do that armed robbery 8 years ago, I guess they found out about it. I mean, the truth is going to come out. That's what the process is there for. So.
Yeah. Now, here's is this a semi-automatic weapon here? What kind of a weapon is that?
So that's actually a semi-automatic rifle. It looks like it's a Tavor, which is an Israeli weapon.
I don't know what.
Okay, so what you're watching right here, this happened, I'm almost positive, in a state other than California.
It did.
Yeah, she's shooting a handgun with a 30-round magazine, which is illegal in California.
Yeah, that wasn't in California. But the point of showing this is more women are handling guns like this. They want to protect themselves, whether it's California, Louisiana, Indiana, Massachusetts. It doesn't matter. It's across the board.
Yes, this is not a regional thing.
Right. And so so when you apply for a concealed weapons permit and you finally get that gun, can you, if you want a second gun, do you have to get another permit, a second permit?
No. Do you want to take that, or you want to?
You can add it to your existing permit, and like I said, you can have up to 4 guns on your CCW permit.
On one permit,
right?
You can have up to, okay, all right.
But I'm wondering, Jake, do you have to pay an extra fee to go back and add that gun?
Yes. So the process is, if you want to add another gun, if it's a gun that you already own that's registered to you, you can add it onto your permit without any further registration stuff. What you have to do, though, is you have to qualify with that firearm. And I think a lot of people don't understand how that works. You have to prove, if I'm your instructor and you're in my class, you have to prove to me, you have to demonstrate that you can safely and effectively use your firearm. If you can't do that, you don't get a certificate from me, which means then that you don't get a permit from the Sheriff's Department. So to add a gun, you just need to qualify with a certified CCW instructor, which means you just go and shoot the gun. At our facility, it's 50 rounds. You then take that certificate that you would get from us down to the county, to the Sheriff's Department. You pay a $10 fee, and they will add it onto your permit. You cannot carry that new gun until you have your new permit in your hand. Even if you did everything else required, you got to have that new permit in your hand that lists the gun on there.
About a minute and a half left. Either one of you, renewal. If you let it run out, I think we got 30 seconds now. If you let it run out, let your concealed weapons permit run out the date, do you have to reapply? How do you renew? What's the process?
Most important thing is you're not going to be reminded. This is not like your driver's license where you're going to get a notice in the mail saying you're about to expire or renew. It's up to you to keep track of when you got it, when it's going to run out. It's 2 years from when you were issued. So mark on your calendar, hey, it's getting close, 4 months out. That way you can start taking the appropriate measures to get that renewal done and take your certification class again.
All right, good deal. Gentlemen, we're going to have to leave it there. Apologize, we're out of time. We could
That's right.
probably go 2 hours.
We probably
maybe get
could
20
have.
or 25 calls on this. Good to see you. All right, Tony, thank you.
Yes.
Jake, good to see you.
Thank you.
Nice meeting
Thank you.
All right, Jake in the firing line. Phone number one more time real quick.
559-294-9400.
All right, and I'm sure both of you will be back here on the program at some point. Thanks for being with us here on Connect with Me. Thanks to Miguel Guzman Miguel. Back tomorrow with another edition of Connect with Me on MeTV Fresno. We'll talk to the people from the Chaffee Zoo. See you tomorrow. Have a good day.